Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a new market update. My name is Crypto Michael, and today we're going to discuss Bitcoin, Ethereum, and maybe some altcoins regarding Cardano. What's happening on Bitcoin? Yesterday we saw that everybody was panicking about the markets, in which they thought the market would go down even more, while we were actually targeting a support zone and probably looking at a potential reversal. That's something that you should be reminding. When everything is down heavily, people start panicking and they want to sell their assets, or they are afraid of their assets of losing value. So that's usually a moment that you should be interested in getting into positions in general, rather than spending or selling your assets, especially given the fact that the net balances on exchanges are still decreasing, which means that there is an outflow from the exchanges towards hard wallets, indicating that people are still buying Bitcoins to put them on their hard wallets as an investment vehicle. So you shouldn't be worrying at all about this correction, as this is just a very healthy and natural correction that we are seeing on the markets here, especially given that we've just anticipated a run from 10k to 58k in just a matter of months. So getting this correction is quite normal, very healthy, also relatively expected given the fact that March is usually a corrective month. And now we're just seeing that we have bounced slightly since yesterday. So what can we expect, or what can we see from this chart? I've discussed it yesterday a little already, but now we can start discussing it once again. So what you see in this chart is that we make this lower highs, lower lows, indicating that we might have gotten this falling wedge construction. We might also have a bullish divergence. Those are not yet confirmed, but we're getting there. So what do we see in this construction is that every previous support becomes resistance. So 55k becomes resistance, 52k becomes resistance, 48.5 becomes resistance, and currently the price of Bitcoin is acting in another resistance area. So what do we see on the downside? We do see that we hit support here, we did bounce back up, couldn't hold, took liquidity below the low, bounced back up, rejected at that 48.5k zone, and made another drop down, in which usually this drop down should start accelerating. This drop down should be accelerating, and then we could see a drop towards 37 to 40k. However, price bounced back up, indicating that buyers were stepping into the markets at this level. So what we currently see is that we have this bounce, in which we still have the construction of lower highs, lower lows, in which most likely we're not going to see a breakthrough between the area of 47 to 48.5. So after that, we most likely see another corrective move in the coming days towards the regions that we have here. What you want to see is that we create a higher low construction, in which, this is also on higher low, this is also on higher low. So what you want to see is that we get this higher low construction, or either that we won't be dropping below this previous low again, to avoid taking liquidity, to avoid an acceleration downwards. So we're looking at this higher low construction here, and then we're looking at the area around 44.5 as that constructive period. If that happens, we got a short-term trend reversal, as we get that higher low going, we are reversing from the lower highs, lower lows, and then we can start breaking this resistance zone at 48k towards the next resistance zone at 52. That is what I'm expecting. What am I expecting afterwards? Usually corrective moves like this happen over time. So what we just anticipated is a very red week. Then usually you get a bounce back up, and then after that we get another corrective move before we start continuing grinding upwards. This corrective move at a later stage this month should be going towards the 21-week MA, and after this we start seeing accelerations on the markets, but also the famous alt season that we also want to see. Most likely that's going to happen when Bitcoin finds its corrective move. If 52k breaks, however, I'm assuming we're going to see, or this region, I'm going to assume that we make new all-time highs, but for now we're just looking at a corrective or a relief rally inside a correction. What can we see on Ethereum? And I'll just get a clean chart going. That's probably the better case. Let's just make a completely clean chart. If we look at the daily chart for Ethereum, we can see that we are in support. This is a nice new feature of TradingView, so it's super annoying. We do see that we are in this support zone, and I've also said yesterday it's most likely that we're going to make that flip, etc. I flipped a part of my Bitcoin towards Ethereum. Do you want to know my strategy? Check out the website that's inside the description beneath. Also, we do see that we have this bounce up, but the same concept applies here towards Ethereum as to Bitcoin. We do see that we are making those lower highs, lower lows, rejection here, as you can see, another rejection of this entire zone here, drop down, support zone found, but another rejection. So most likely we get a rejection somewhere in this region again, in which we're going to look for a higher low. Preferably this $1,400 zone is something that I'd love to see flip as support, and then we can start accelerating, most likely towards the region that we have between 1700, 1800, and then we have another corrective move to make a confirmation or do a retest, and then we're done with the corrective move and start making new impulse waves. So basically the same outlook for Ethereum here. If we lose this entire region, there is this zone at $700, but there's also this area around 1K that I'm still looking at, not assuming that we go that far down, but we could be chopping around for a little and keep this support going, just like we have been seeing in September in this case. And then we just get a grind up until we start accelerating during the summer once again. Ethereum, Bitcoin. Ethereum, Bitcoin, and I'll just get another clean chart going. Delete. That's actually the right one. Ethereum, Bitcoin is currently acting as support or at support. We can see that we have a failed breakout. We can see that we are dropping down here as well. The entire region that you wanted to sustain is this region between 0.26 to 0.28. That should be holding. So I flipped over some ETH already, but if we get into that zone, I'm interested still. We do see that we have these higher lows, higher highs. So that is all completely fine. And we're looking to see whether we can sustain support in general here, make a bounce up towards the region that we have at 0.37, make another retest, and then we can start accelerating. So for now, this is fine. We might fill or drop down. Then I said the 0.26 level is the level that I'm watching. On lower time frames, it's looking like we've got this bullish divergence, so you want to see this higher low as well. If that happens, acceleration is going to happen and we see the relief rally on Ethereum. Then we've got Cardano, and Cardano has the update today, which means that I'm not too interested in trading this one unless we get a heavy correction. You should be aware that those events are usually buy the rumor, sell the news, in which I would not be surprised if we start correcting on Cardano afterwards. We do see that we have a beautiful support resistance flip. We do see that we rejected this $1.37 to $1.40 level, which is the critical level. If this breaks, I'm going to assume that we start accelerating, and then I'm going to look at $1.70 as the next target zone for this one. If Cardano loses its level, however, and we can't sustain $1.15 as support, I'm going to look at the support that we have in this region between 80 to 90 cents. There I'm going to place some bids, otherwise I'm going to look at 70 cents, but that's just way too far down the line. So what's there to be expected? I'm not assuming Cardano will continue rallying, but I do assume that Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to have a relief rally if they make those higher lows, and then everybody's going to celebrate those moves once again. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. You can do that beneath here, and have a wonderful, blessed day.